Good afternoon. Today I'm back out in Butler County, Kansas, and I'm going to be trying for everybody Larceny. Larceny is a Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey. It's a very small batch, 92 proof. John E. Fitzgerald, he was the key keeper that used to go in and steal bits of bourbon out of special casks from the warehouses, sell it on the side. That's where the larceny term comes from in this. I'm not going to go into a lot of detail about that. There's plenty wrote out there about it if you're interested in it. This one has a little hang tag sticker. It says top 20 best spirit in the world by the Spirit Journal. Larceny bourbon, and it's a Heaven Hill product. It's 92 proof, 46% alcohol by volume. We're out here. This is a bridge at Boyd Ark here in kind of south central Butler County. It's a Kansas City Bridge and Iron Company bridge built in 1885. Now it's been updated. You can tell by the concrete along the bottom, but you can see the buttresses are all laid stone. Across the bridge is an old stone store off to the side. And we can't really get there because the bridge is now blocked off on both ends. It was 6'6", a 3-ton bridge, similar to the last time I was at a steel bridge. It's a beautiful setting. That's the Little Walnut River. It's running real good right now. We had a little bit of rain, enough to really kind of make it run good, and nothing to flood or nothing like that. Anyway, let's get back to the bourbon. It's a wheated bourbon, and you know, wheat's a soft grain and it adds a soft. Oops, I'm hitting my mic, so everybody excuse that. Not meaning to do that at all. But it is a wheated mash bill, if I remember correctly on it. And I've had it for about a year, and you can tell by what's gone that it's really not quite my thing. It's not saying it's a bad bourbon. I'm just saying it's not my thing. It's good, oily. It clings fairly well. Legs run sort of slow, build slow anyway. And then they start running a little quicker as it goes down. We're talking a medium amber honey color to it. It's not overtly dark. I'm going to guess it's around 5 years old or so, 4 or 5 years old. Don't know about that, maybe 6, I'm not sure. I get a little of the oak, and I get caramel. But the caramel and brown sugars really kind of come through in this one. It's more of a sweet bourbon on the nose. There's a little bit of fruitiness there. They do get just a little bit of apple in it, which I think's weird, actually. And there's some spiciness in the background, but it's very background. And if it is a wheater, and I'm not sure, I'll have to correct it or look it up, but I almost swear it's just a touch bit of rice spice in it, but I may be wrong. That just may be barrel contributions. There's a little vanilla in the background too on that. But actually the apple and it's a old apple in it. It's not a fresh cut apple. I can't nail down the spices, but there's a little spiciness to it. Let's go for the palate. Again, you get the caramel, gentle apple. You do get a little bit of the proof on the tongue, but it fades rather quickly. So you do get just a touch bit of spirit drive and the palate that I didn't get in the nose. Very sweet. This is a sweet bourbon. It's going to appeal to somebody with a sweet tooth. It's more of an allspice. The spiciness that's coming through in this, it's really not veering toward the cinnamon nutmeg direction, really. Maybe a touch on the nutmeg, but more of an allspice direction with this bourbon. It's a good medium finish. And the spiciness lays on the back of your tongue. So the spiciness kind of dwells around a little bit. Very sweet on the up front side. I can see why this score is high, because it's got a good transition from sweet to spicy. So the score is kind of makes sense to me as to why they would do it like they've done it. Overall, it's a good bourbon. We do pick up on the end of the palate, beginning of the finish. It's got an oily mouthfeel. And it's kind of drying as it goes through the finish. But there is an oak spice that comes through there. But it's not dominant. It's not a bad oak spice. It's a decent oak spice. Overall, it's a decent bourbon. It's just kind of somewhere not in my personal range. I mean, is it a good daily drinker? Yes. Is it good? Better than your average, probably bourbon in this category? Yes. But for me, it's an 86 out of 100, which is a step above an 85, which means it's just a little better than your average, but not really. I want more rye spice. I don't want overbearing rye spice, but I like a good low rye mash bill. As I've gone through, I've kind of transitioned from the high rye mash bills. I'm starting to like the low ryes a little bit better. I'm still not on board with some of the wheaters because of just the sweetness and the softness in the palate, and that appeals to a lot of people. So if that appeals to you and you know it, this is going to be a good choice for you. If you like Evan Williams 1783, this is not exactly the same, but it's kind of following, and that's a rye bourbon, but it's kind of following that same mouthfeel, same presentation you're getting. In some ways, they're kind of similar, even though they're spicy, a little bit more spicy in the Evan Williams, maybe I think, than this, but I'd have to try them side by side. My memory fades, and that bottle's long gone. But that's the closest memory that I bring back to. Anyway, I've dwelled on this long enough. Well, I've gave it a score, 86 out of 100. I paid $24.99, if I remember correctly, for it. No, I paid $22.99 for this. I paid $22 because I bought Scott and Bart's, I think, the same time a couple of years ago. I've had it for a while, and I just opened it about 8 months ago. So, anyway, maybe a year, 8 months to a year ago, because I haven't drank very much in that amount of time. There's your review on it. Remember, the spirit in your glass ain't running from you. Take your time, sip, and enjoy it. You'll be better for it, as will we all. And another view of the Little Walnut River running under the bridge. It's real pretty. It's early fall. Leaves are starting to change a little bit, and it's starting to get real pretty here. Have a good day.